Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett. We want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following for your Sunday night. So we have had some news take place here in the last couple of hours. We do want to remind you can join us on air tonight at 10 and 11. You can join us at 10 on Peachtree TV and at 11 over on CBS. We would love to see you there, and we will give you all of your top stories as well as your full forecast for the day. Now, you can also watch us streaming here as well or online at atlantanewsfirst.com. But we do want to start out with this news that we have. All right, it would help if you could see me, huh? There we go. Here I am. All right. Well, we do want to start out with this bit of breaking news that we just got here to the Atlanta News First newsroom. A man is accused of stealing a MARTA bus. Now, we are still trying to figure out all the details there. We have our reporter Asia Wilson on the scene. Now, what we're playing here is this is just some general MARTA bus video. This is not anything from today, just some general footage that we have had from stories past. But what we've learned is that a person was arrested after allegedly stealing a MARTA bus in DeKalb County this evening. MARTA officials say the person verbally assaulted a bus driver after getting onto the bus at Lawrenceville Highway and Steel Drive. When the driver got off the bus to report the incident, that person allegedly stole the empty bus. The person drove the bus to the entrance of Stone Mountain Park, where he was later arrested. There were no injuries. The bus was not damaged. The person who allegedly stole the bus will face charges for hijacking a motor vehicle, and that is according to MARTA officials. So again, at this point, we don't know the name of the person that is accused of doing this. We don't have an image of them yet, but we have a reporter out gathering more details now after this sort of crazy story about this person accused of stealing that bus. Again, the bus was empty at the time, according to officials, but this person is going to be facing charges. All right, let's go ahead and take you back out here live. So this next story is something that we have been following now for actually several years. Sort of what's old is new again, and I'm going to explain that here in just a minute. You may have been keeping up with Tex McIver's trial. Now, this man went to trial back in 2018. Those charges the conviction was overturned, according to the state Supreme Court. And he is going to be going to trial again starting tomorrow. So this has been a very high-profile case. And when I start to explain this case, it may start to ring some bells for you. Back in 2018, prominent Buckhead attorney Tex McIver stood trial for the accused murder of his wife. And starting tomorrow, that process is going to be starting again. So MacGyver was found guilty of several charges on the original trial, including felony murder and possession of a firearm. But Georgia Supreme Court overturned the two convictions in June of last year. That's because upon appeal, the Supreme Court argued the trial court should not have refused MacGyver's request to change the charge to involuntary manslaughter, citing some evidence behind that claim. So in other words, they say that jurors didn't know that there is another charge, involuntary manslaughter, that could be pursued as well. So that is the result of why the state Supreme Court decided to overturn those convictions. So a new jury selection starts tomorrow. The retrial was requested by the Fulton County prosecutors in July of 2022, and it was scheduled in November. So the question is not whether Tex McIver shot his wife, Diane MacGyver. It's whether he actually meant to do it. So going back here, it was back in 2016 that Tex and his wife Diane were being driven back home to Buckhead from a friend after a weekend away. And that friend testified she was driving she was in the driver's seat. Diane, Tex McIver's wife, was in the front passenger seat, and Tex was in the rear passenger seat, just to kind of set that scene for you. Court records say the driver exited off the interstate and onto Peachtree Street, and that is when Tex reportedly said that they were in a bad area of town. He asked for his wife to hand him his gun. As they continued driving, the driver had said that she thought Tex McIver had fallen asleep when suddenly they were stopped at a traffic light. This was on Piedmont Road and 14th Street, when there was a loud boom. The gun had been shot and passed through Diane MacGyver's seat, hitting her in the back. She ultimately died during surgery. The two had been married for 11 years at that point. So what is going to be happening tomorrow is really this whole process is going to be starting over again, starting with jury selection. But Tex McIver had been convicted of murder. However, the state Supreme Court said that essentially there was a lesser charge that was not really accurately, in their words, presented to the jury as something that could be pursued at the time, that charge being involuntary manslaughter. And so the state Supreme Court found that they had to overturn that conviction. So as a result, they are going back to trial again. So Atlanta News First is going to be in the courtroom. We are going to have reporters bringing you all the latest. We know this is a very high-profile case, and it's something that has been in the works now, as we've said, for years, and pretty much is starting anew tomorrow. So you can download our Atlanta News First app if you want to get push alerts. We will continue to bring you all of the latest as we continue to learn more about the case and as things get started again. But tomorrow, jury selection is going to be that first step. That is going to be, that is expected to begin tomorrow. So I know I've given you some heavy news here, but we would like to share with you some good news. We always try to do that when we can. And that was a really special event that took place today for some children battling some really tough illnesses. The group Cure Childhood Cancer, they held a holiday party today where they got to, oh, here we go. Make sure I can get you to the right spot here. But it was just to lift spirits and spread some holiday joy, they said. They hosted its annual holiday party for children that have undergone cancer treatment, and they treated 200 families to games, crafts, treats, and of course, visits with Santa. There were holiday songs, face painting, delicious gingerbread, they said. And, of course, they got a picture with Santa, who was very busy this time of year, but he took time out of his busy schedule. So, again, this was 200 different families. Our reporter, Bridget Spencer, she is going to share more about this later on tonight, but I did want to give you, end on a positive note to tell you something that is going on to give back to these children that have been through so much, to their families who have been through so much. This took place at Park Tavern in Atlanta earlier today. There were carolers there. Everyone wore their Christmas best, their holiday best. And it was just a moment to enjoy as a family, to take a break from treatment, take a break from hospital settings, and get to enjoy a nice holiday setting. So this is usually the part where I would turn things over to First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin. But Cutter is busy right now. He was taking part in the Sandy Springs Sparkle Parade, holiday parade that they have. We have our First Alert meteorologist whole team out there. Atlanta News First anchor Alan Devlin also out there tonight. So we're going to bring you the highlights from that later. Cutter can tell you in his own words how much fun it was out there. But what I can do is I can give you a live look outside. That much I can do. And he will have your full forecast later on tonight to tell you everything that you can expect as we start a new week. We are wrapping up the weekend now. We are heading into a new week. I see Kevin. He's watching from San Antonio. Hey, Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you watching, as well as Miss Property Manager. Thank you. Tom, you're watching as well. Thank you so much for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. We welcome, of course, any questions and comments that you have. But in the meantime, you can join my co-anchor, Tori Cooper, and I tonight at 10 and 11 on Atlanta News First. And for any updates on these stories, continuing coverage on the Tex McIver case, for continued updates on this MARTA bus situation, you can always log on to atlantanewsfirst.com and get those updates. But only a few hours from now, you can join us on TV, about an hour and a half away from now. So hope everyone stays safe. Have a great night, and we'll end with a live look outside over the city of Atlanta.